Welcome to the Vector Garden. In this video, we're going to talk about patterns. During the last months, I've been seeing a lot of tutorials about pattern creation in Illustrator, and I'm wondering why on earth you would want to do it like that. So let's first take a look at what these tutorials teach you and a little bit about the history of pattern creation in Illustrator, and then we're going to take a look at why these tutorials teach you a very inefficient way and how to do it better. So, first of all, what they do is you've got a controlled size of rectangle. This is a square, but you can do it with any rectangle, which is 300 by 300 pixels in this case. And then you need to place your objects in it. And if you've placed it, then you move it. And in this case, of course, you move it 300 pixels down and make a copy like this. And if you've got one over here, then again, you do the same and move it vertical 0, in this case, and 300 pixels across. And make another copy, and then you have some more objects that you can place anywhere and just fill this like this. Okay. And once you are done, you need another rectangle. So you make a copy of this and then go to paste and back. Give this no stroke and no fill, and then select everything. Go to the swatches panel and drag the thing into it. So that's this. There's another variant of this tutorial, and I have prepared this here, in which the rectangle, so the parts that overlap the rectangle, even get cut. So in order to do this, we have to first select them and outline those strokes. And then just copy this and paste it in front. Select all these overlapping things. Go to the Pathfinder panel and use this like so. And then we have actually cut them. So this is not a clipping mask. As you see in the outline mode, these are actually cut. And then again, you select all of this, drag it into the swatches panel, and you have your pattern. What's this with these tutorials? The argument to use this method is that you have full control. And I've even heard that this gives you complete freedom. But we're going to see in a minute that is not really true. So let's take a look at this. A little bit about the history of patterns in Illustrator. This is a photo of the Illustrator 88 manual from 1988. And this version already had patterns. And in it, you see an explanation that introduces the idea of patterns and how you create them. And you made them like I have just shown you. And again, the same Illustrator 3, and it teaches you this method, as you can see here. In 2012, we had Illustrator CS6. And you can see here in this screenshot from James Wamser's new feature guide of Illustrator that one of its new features was pattern creation. Have been simplified, and it can save you hours of repetitive and tedious work. Yes, we have just seen that. So that was the work that it saved you from. But more importantly, so you have just made this tile. The next thing is, you've got to check that out. Does it even work? So let's go to the swatches panel and like this. I have yet to see a pattern that works on the first try. So you see this and then you see, well, that's not nice. we have to edit that. Editing that, we have actually an option. We can double click this, and then we are in pattern editing mode. Well, we should have started this actually, but the way we edit this in pattern editing mode, so when we double click this, then you see we want to move this around. Oh, there's this copy. So this one doesn't move with it. So basically we've shot ourselves in the foot because everything is messed up. I'm going to exit this. So you would actually move this around here, and basically you would need to select those two and then move them around and see that you can edit that, and basically it will not work pretty well. Even worse with this one, because you cannot move anything because they have been cut. What we've done here is like this, so it's not editable. And also, if we double click it, it's not editable. So let's deselect this here, and then, you know, when we try to move this around, then it also won't work. Like this. Shot ourselves in the foot. The way to create and edit patterns is actually the pattern editing mode, and we have the same options that we had with this method, because basically it does the same and it does most of it automatically. These are the base objects, and we can just select them all, go to Object, and then Pattern Make, like this. You see in here we have the size of 300 by 300, and then we can move these things around. And now what happens is we've got some problems with the stacking. So you see this moves below because we have this background here, and you know, it can be changed like this. So then we can have the background actually like this, and here as well. But it would be even nicer and work even better to design the thing without a background. We're going to do that, how that works. So first of all, I'm just going to move these around and make that pattern like this. So, and you see, we do not need to care about the things that overlap all these edges. Illustrator takes care of that. The pattern editing mode is actually pretty great. And you see, it does all of that on its own. It's just awesome. So when done, what we can do, as I said, we shouldn't have this one in it. It's better to design without a background. So I'm going to cut that. You see, it stays the same size. So we click on Done, like this. And then we have our pattern here. And the way we're going to use this is now create the rectangle. And I'm just going to pick up this color because that's going to be the background color. And then we can go to the Appearance panel. And in here, we just add another fill. And to that fill, we assign this pattern. And then we have the pattern in front. Do not need to care about this overlap and stacking order of them, and can design pretty freely and add the background later. So this gives us all the options. And then when you now see, well, this didn't turn out great, then we can just double click it. And when we then move it around, then you see no duplicates, everything happens automatically. We see this preview and can just keep an eye on everything and see what it's going to be. And this is just awesome to do. So all these tutorials, I don't know why they reappear just now, but probably people have seen the old pre-CS6 tutorials and think, well, maybe that's a good idea. It's not. Just use the pattern mode because it's just awesome.